Hello there, welcome to Switched On. I just thought I'd do a quick opinion piece since they announced the Nintendo Switch 2. Just for context, I've bought every Nintendo console that has come out in the past. I've been buying them day one since the GameCube era. As soon as I was able to afford the console myself, I got it day one. Um, and so you'd think I would probably be quite excited about the Switch 2, but I have to admit I'm a little bit underwhelmed. And I'll give you my reasons now and just see if anybody perhaps agrees with me, or if you don't agree with me, explain as to why you're excited and why I'm wrong. I'm happy to be corrected or to be challenged on my thoughts. But let's start with the obvious. This is the first time I've seen Nintendo directly just release a system and called it number two. Every system that's been released in the past, has had a significant generational leap as the means of the selling point, or some innovation in its delivery of play, delivery of interaction, whether it's motion control, touchscreen, 3D screens, whatever that is. Or in the case of the Wii U, even though that was considered a flop of a console and is the closest we've got to a direct sequel, it still had asynchronous gameplay and it was kind of closer to the Switch than it was the Wii. For me, this announcement feels a lot like it should have happened 4 years ago as the long then since rumored Switch Pro. I spoke about it on this channel actually about 5, 6 years ago that there were rumors before when the Switch first came out about variations of the dock having different inbuilt GPUs to increase the power supply and whatnot. And I personally positioned the idea that if they go down the route of having this as their system for the foreseeable future, they should perhaps take the tablet and phone route where they release an iteration every 2, 3 years. Games have a guaranteed 6, 7 year window, like a generation, that they play across all systems. They just have scalable graphics, scalable performance, and so on and so forth. And it seems they've kind of done that with the Switch 2 from what we've seen so far. I mean, I know there might be some hidden feature that we don't know about yet that is revolutionary. It doesn't really seem that way though, especially with the naming system and what they've shown so far and how, as people call it, shadow dropping it. It's literally dropped like a variation, like the OLED, the way they've dropped the information. But yeah, I mean, they showcase as well a new Mario Kart game. I'm a massive Mario Kart fan. I've played all the Mario Kart games since the first one back in 91, 92. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is, I think, a masterpiece. It's the pinnacle of the series. I actually thought they might go down the route of just forever making that game a game of service, which would have seemed like a good approach to take. They have shown what looks to be a completely new Mario Kart game on the Switch 2. The graphics, the way that the wheels look, there's enough differences there to know that this probably isn't Mario Kart 8, which is exciting. But it doesn't go without saying that the easiest game to make with the lowest cost to maximum reward has got to be Mario Kart. It's like bigger than Zelda as their franchise, and we already know it's going to play based on old game mechanics. We already know that they're utilizing older assets. They don't have to like build a whole game from scratch. They have all the assets from the previous Mario Kart game, so it's not like it's a high investment development project. So again, it's not overwhelming. It's not exciting. It's just like it's to be expected, and that isn't entitlement. That's just like from a fan and consumer point of view, that's to be expected. Um, I do think the Switch 2 looks nice from a design point of view. It's sleek. The way the body is designed, it's bigger. The magnetic Joy-Con and whatnot. But again, I was hoping for an actual new system, something that would be interesting, even if it was just like something as simple as making a Nintendo phone or something like that, where you can play your Nintendo games with Joy-Con on the go, connected to a mobile phone, so you didn't need to take. I don't know, like that might be a terrible idea, but just as an example of something more innovative. And if it wasn't going to be this innovative, why did it take so long? Is it just because of the chip makers? Are they waiting for the chips to be at a standard where they're happy to do this? And one thing we haven't seen, and I will say this, we haven't seen if there is any innovation within the dock. Maybe the dock does have a dedicated GPU. Maybe they do go down that route of offering modular, more customizable of an experience. Um, but I say this sincerely as a lifelong Nintendo fan. It's my favorite game company in the industry, from a game development point of view, and even probably a hardware point of view. Um, it just felt underwhelming. Uh, I get the hype will be there nonetheless because nostalgia is a really powerful tool, and brand loyalty is kind of crazy these days. The word fanboy is now used as a positive when it was always a derogative. Fanboy was somebody who's blind to any negatives for the company, but people openly call themselves fanboys now. But we'll see. I mean, games make a system. I still think the Switch is both the best, probably arguably the best console ever made, and the worst in relation to how good it could have been and how much they dropped the ball in so many ways. Um, but I'll probably buy it day one. I'll probably add to the to the problem of consumer mediocrity, uh, and global corporate mediocrity. But there are a few things I hope to see. A couple of those are Hall effect analog sticks. Get rid of that drift. I mean, that ruined Nintendo's reputation of making great controllers that were reliable. That seems like a standard, considering Hall effect is becoming a standard across third-party controllers. I think they're going to have to improve the Bluetooth, the Bluetooth and wireless chips inside the system because they were atrocious in the original Switch. They actually made me not want to play docked because at any point you have any interference, and as we know, Wi-Fi technology improved, more and more devices had Bluetooth in and around the house. It's near impossible to play your Switch at any reasonable distance from your TV without having some kind of intermittent dropout or lag, which was just not good for competitive gaming. Not that the Switch was really known for that, but nonetheless, it still knocks that down a little bit. And obviously, OLED should be the standard now. The OLED display should be the standard. Those features make it much more appealing. You get better, but it just feels like the Switch Pro, you know. So hopefully, I'm wrong, and they come up with some new piece of information. But again, I'm not getting my hopes up. They've called it the Switch Two. It literally is just the same console, but another version of the same console, which back in the day was the 3DS or the DS Lite. What the DS Lite was to the DS. That's what this feels like. It doesn't quite feel like the 3DS to the 2DS because again, the 3DS had a significant jump in performance and a significant selling point being the 3D screen, whether you liked it or not. And the scope of the games was generationally completely different. You could play Wii games on the 3DS. On the DS, you was lucky to play 3D games that had any sort of impact. But again, could be wrong. It might have some revolutionary chip we don't know about in there, and we get PS4 Pro level performance on the go. But since the Steam Deck come out and since the handheld PC market blew up, this just feels even more mediocre, dare I say. But yeah, if anyone shares my opinion or has any opposing opinions, please feel free to drop a comment. I'm happy to engage, and it's always fun. But yeah, take care. All the best. See ya.